telling people we're talking about this, that, and the third behind each other's back, and then she specifically says my name, and I look at her like, are you fucking crazy? What's up, besties, and welcome back to the channel. So as y'all can see, today we got a story time. I haven't done story times in years on YouTube. It was when my 40-year-old coworker tried to press me at work. I'm like, sis, you're like almost double my age. Like, chill out, chill out. I'm gonna be doing a get ready with me, y'all, because I am about to film some other content. So I was like, this is so perfect. I can tell y'all this little story and then we can get, you know, get the face beat at the same time. Before we get into this video, make sure y'all go down there and y'all subscribe to your girl's channel, press the like button, comment and let me know if you ever had anybody at your work that pressed you or that tried you. Because I feel like, especially for us brown and black women, we get tried a lot at work. For what? Baby, I'm here for the check. We don't need to be doing all that, okay? But let's get into this, y'all. I started working at this job probably, I'm trying to think, it was probably the end of 2022. I started to do substituting, which is a common job for like college students and post-college students, just to kind of get on your feet and just have some income coming in. And so when I took this job, this was not like a first time type of situation. Like, this was not my first time substituting whatsoever. This actually was technically my last time substituting. I think this might have been job number 4, I believe, or 5 or something like that. Child, it was a fucking roller coaster, let's put it that way. It was probably one of the most chaotic, I kid you not, one of the most chaotic substituting jobs I've ever had in my life. When I first started the job, the funny part about it is that the position that I had actually fulfilled wasn't even supposed to be the position I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to get a whole completely different grade level, and I specifically wanted this grade level because they don't take standardized tests. If you are a teacher, you know that having your children take standardized tests makes your experience as a teacher that much more stressful, because baby, you are required to teach them this information so that they are ready to take those standardized tests at the end of the year. So I was like, no, I don't want no class that requires testing. I want us to be able to have fun, drink apple juice, take naps, whatever, and just have a good old time. But naturally, they gave that position away to a different person, whatever. And I was just gonna be like, whatever, like, that's fine. Like, I was about to go about my day and I was about to go look for like another position. But then she had stopped me, and the principal, and was like, you know, like, oh, we have this other position. So I went ahead and I was like, oh, sure. Now, this class was inclusion, and I wasn't really familiar with inclusion because a lot of the substituting I did before was for middle school, and this particular school was an elementary school. And I did electives, y'all. I did elective specials, whatever you call it, where you at. Baby, I was a PE substitute teacher, and that was the best substitute job I ever had in my life. I did a technology class because my degree is in tech, and I never did like a class where I had to teach you math, science, and things of that nature. So baby, I just didn't know what the fuck I was walking into, put it that way. So they take me to this class, and I should have, it was a couple of red flags in the beginning, but again, I'm thinking check. Like, I'm thinking I need some money. I've substituted before and it wasn't bad. Like, let me just go ahead and get this money. So she takes me to the classroom, and one thing that I don't like about substituting is that when you are a substitute teacher, at least where I'm at, they don't like give you a trial period, right? They don't have you come in for the day and be like, oh, this is the teacher for the day. Like, they don't introduce you as like, oh, this is who's gonna be, you know, your substitute for the day, and give you like a few days to figure it out. They just automatically put you in there like, hey baby, if this y'all new teacher. I was like, fuck. I was not ready for that. I go into the class, and actually, you know how kids are. Like, kids when you first start are pretty chill. They trying to fill you out, see what they can get away with, etc, etc. So when I first started, they weren't that bad. I was just filling them out to see how they act and things of that nature. Now, the reason I wasn't really so upset about taking that position was that what I was told was that there was gonna be a special education teacher who also is supposed to be like, you know, kind of like an aide with the students who are, you know, considered special ed. And I was like, okay, cool, you know, that's wonderful to have that assistance, to have that extra help. I also had like another person who was helping out with the class who was considered like more of a tutor or whatever, and me and my girl, that's my girl right there, we cool. She was in my Beyonce, she went with us to go see Beyonce. Like, that's how cool we got, because she's literally like my age. She's not my age, she's like 3 years younger, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's in the age range as I am. And so like, as we got closer, she started getting me like more and more hip to the BS that was going on in school. Now, me being me, I never did elementary school before, so I wasn't familiar with the amount of communication that needs to happen between teacher to teacher. Like, middle school teachers don't do as much communication. Like, you have what it is that the students are supposed to do, and then you kind of go from there. Like, it isn't really like you have to do exactly the same exact thing in every single class. Like, middle school is kind of like, baby, this is the curriculum, this is what you want to do, that's what you can do. I don't need to sit up here in cahoots and have a meeting all the time about what we're all gonna do in the same, you know. We had to be on the same page. We literally had to do the same exact thing. We were doing the same exact work, and I was just like, bruh, like, I'm not used to having to do all this. And what got on my nerves is that naturally me coming in late, like, I'm pretty much like, they what, 4, 5, 6 months into school, I wasn't aware of how bad these kids was doing. Now, again, I was always an elective teacher. Baby, ain't no kids failing electives. If you failing an elective, that's a whole nother issue, okay? If you failing PE, if you failing art, baby, you need to get it together. So I wasn't used to having, like, you know, a class of kids who was just not doing nothing, a class of kids that were not doing well in school, because I was teaching electives. Like, everybody got an A or got a B. Like, ain't nobody ever here struggling with PE. So when I walked into that classroom, the first red flag was just like pretty much 90% of the kids was just not doing well. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Lord have mercy, I'm not walking into like a well-versed class. I'm walking to something that's like, we need improvement around here. The second red flag, which I found out, you know, not even really, like, I feel like they was spilling the tea real early. Like, I feel like I found out pretty early on all the BS that was going on around there. But the second red flag was I was not the first substitute. Like, this was December, like I said before, and around that time they had the special education teacher teaching the class, which she's not supposed to do. She's supposed to specifically be there to aid and to help just the sped kids. But whole time they had her, you know, because she did have experience and because she, you know, has been around for a while and been in the school, you know, around for a while, they had her teaching the class. And I'm like, girl, now granted, I think they were paying her extra, which is like the only way that you would personally get me to teach this class is if you paid me extra. But yeah, so one substitute eventually came, she left, or the girl who tried to press me got her fired, okay? And then after she got her fired, naturally the sped teacher had to go back in and be the full-time teacher again. So pretty much that teacher, the substitute prior to me who got fired, she might have been there only a month maybe before old girl got her fired. And then naturally, you know, the sped teacher's probably thinking like, oh my God, like I literally finally got into a position of being able to do my fucking job and y'all done fired the girl. And now I gotta go back to being sped teacher and I gotta go back to being regular teacher for this class. Now, mind you, the grade that I was teaching y'all, it was 5th grade, right? And so at that point, you pretty much are pre-middle school. This is when they feeling themselves. This is where they feel like, you know, they the man, they the girl, like they grown. They feel like they real grown around that time. So to me, it was just as bad to me as teaching middle school, because middle school, the only reason I didn't have a horrible experience with that, again, I taught electives. So I didn't really have to deal with too many attitudes because you're happy to be in PE. You're happy to be in art. You are glad you're not in math right now. Now it's flipped. Now I'm teaching the class where I got to teach you science, math, English, this and the third. And so then I started to experience those attitudes. I was not prepared for that at all. Another red flag that I found out is all these children hadn't been getting no discipline. So they've been acting a fool since school started, and by the time I got there, they still were not getting any discipline. What you mean? Like, school starts in what, August, September, one of the months? You mean to tell me they've been acting a fool since then and y'all ain't give no detentions, referrals, anything of that nature? Y'all just been letting them act crazy and come back the next day? Yeah, I walked into a shit show, as you can see. So taking all those factors into account, okay, on top of once me and my girl got close and we started like kikiing and chatting and shit, I found out so much when it came to the drama between the staff. I personally never understood the whole workplace drama thing. Baby, I'm here for a check. I got bills to pay. I started to find out a lot of drama. A lot of the employees would kiki in each other's face, but then talk about each other at the same time. And so, you know, I kept my distance. I'm here, like I said, I'm here to work. I'm here to get a check. I'm here to help these kids get better, do better, hopefully grade-wise, because they've been like struggling, you know, since I got here. I'm not really here focused on creating these relationships and like, you know, being buddy-buddy with everybody. I feel like we all just need to be cordial, do our jobs and get on. Naturally, because I was an elective teacher and I was not a, you know, full-fledged, like, you know, teaching you the subjects and things of that nature, it's a couple of things that I just did not know and I wasn't aware of. One of the things with like the standardized testing is so much more intricate than I was expecting for it to be. I was not expecting, you know, it to be as time consuming and as like, you know, serious as it was. And so there was a lot that went into testing. And so this is where the incident comes into play. So we're doing like some testing, whatever. The kids been doing testing, and there was some site or some, you know, specific place that we were supposed to go to update or to upload the testing scores. And so me being me, the only thing that I have familiarity with was taking attendance. Taking attendance and maybe putting in simple grades. I didn't have to put in no test scores, no standardized tests, you know, this, that, and the third for the, you know, local government or nothing of that nature. Like, I didn't have to do all that. So me being me, I'm sitting here like, I don't know where to go. Like, I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing whatever I'm doing correctly. Let me go talk to the head lady in charge. So there was somebody who worked there who was in charge of like the reading department. I think one of the tests that the kids took had to do with like reading pretty much. And so I was like, let me go talk to her, because like anybody who's working and they have deadlines, right, and are unsure about what they're supposed to do, a natural person will go and talk to the person who's requesting for you to do something to make sure that you are going to the right place and you're doing it right, correct? Right. That's what I thought too. So I went over to the lady's office and I was like, okay, you know, how can I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Like, where do I go? And it turns out I wasn't doing it right. So she basically just showed me, you know, where I was supposed to go. I put in my test scores. I'm thinking that's it. I'm thinking I did what I was supposed to do. I'm thinking bad. I'm on top of my things. I'm doing what and not thinking anything of it. I'm not thinking it's no issue. Now, when I worked at the school, we had mad meetings, y'all. We literally met, I feel like, almost every day, whether it was a planning period meeting, whether it was professional development meeting. We met every single day. I'm like, I don't know how much more we need to talk about things. I just really don't. But we had a meeting this particular day, and I think this might have been either the day after I went to go ask the head person in charge of that, or it might have been maybe a day or two after. It was something of that nature. And I'm thinking we're coming in here for a normal meeting, which it was kind of sort of like a normal meeting. We went in there to just talk about like planning stuff or whatever. You know, I go in there, I listen to what they got to say. I take down my notes, say what I got to say, and then we go about our business, right? Child, for one thing that got on my nerves about these meetings is that they would sit up in there and talk about personal business, okay? I would know every little teeny little thing about them. Their this, that, their marriage stuff, their this. I'm like, dang, y'all just really be talking. Y'all be telling all your business at work like this? Like, I don't be telling people all my business at work like this. Like, people are spiteful. People will prey on your downfall. People, you know, like, I'm like, dang, they used to literally use our planning time to talk about personal things. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, y'all can, do I need to come back in 10 minutes? Because I do not want to sit up here and talk about this. So when we first started the meeting that day, we were talking about personal things per usual. And so they used to kiki with each other and have like lunch and stuff with each other, or like be in a different room with each other. So I have a feeling, or they probably had a group chat as well, I'm pretty sure. I had a feeling that they all kind of knew that she was gonna try to press or address me in this meeting. Again, I'm clueless. I am not aware that I did anything wrong. Okay, so we get in a meeting and we're talking about, I think the meeting started off normal, but I think like towards the beginning of the meeting is where she tried to press me, or maybe it was the end, I can't remember exactly. So we're having a meeting, and then she said something to the extent of like, and I don't know why we're going and we're telling people we're talking about this, that, and the third behind each other's back, and then she specifically says my name, and I look at her like, are you fucking crazy? You're giving mental right now. Because I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck did I say to warrant any of what you're saying right now at all? I had to literally, like, if I have to sit up here and I have to think about what it is that I did, you're in the wrong in my eyes, personally. I literally was sitting there thinking to myself, what did I do about this? What did I do to this girl? What did I say that was so wrong, or so, like, what in the world did I do? Basically, she tried to say like, oh, basically running to go ask, it was an issue for me to go ask old girl about help. I should have asked her because she's like the head person of the grade level or whatever, and I should have asked her instead of going to the source. I'm sorry, baby. I don't know how you operate, but how I operate is I want to make sure that whoever requested this from me, that is to their liking. So me being me, I asked old girl because she's the one who sent out the email and said, hey, y'all need to have this done by a particular date. I'm gonna go ask her. why wouldn't I ask her? Doesn't that make more sense to go ask that head honcho? So y'all, I was just sitting there like, I'm sitting here literally like trying to think like, what the fuck is this girl talking? Like, what is this crazy woman talking about? Because there was other instances, like I've seen her crying, I've seen this, that, and that. This wasn't the first instance where I realized that this girl's probably off her rocker. This was like a confirmation that she was. So I'm sitting there like literally like thinking about, I'm trying to think what this girl is talking about, because I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. And then I sat up there and I said, are you talking about me going to ask Miss So-and-so about da-da-da-da? And this bitch says, she's pretty much like, yeah, like, oh, it makes us look bad, like it makes us da-da-da. What it is I think what happened was that because I went to go ask old girl and I told old girl that I didn't know how to do it, or nobody showed me how to do it, that she went back and she told old girl like, hey, why is she unaware of how to do da-da-da-da? Like, why is she coming to me asking me how to do da-da-da? Like I said, all this shit was messy. I didn't think it was a big deal. I really didn't think it was a big deal at all. After she says it, and after I kind of comprehend like what it is exactly she's talking about, I said, first of all, let's start up there. First of all, I didn't think it was a big deal for me to go to old girl telling her I don't know how to do it because I don't know how to do it and y'all don't show me nothing. Okay, you know how many times it was that I was at that school where there's a test these kids need to take and there's a worksheet they're supposed to have. Why you have it printed out, old girl next to me got it printed out, and I'm the only one who's unaware about this worksheet? Plenty of times where y'all go downstairs, because all of our kids went to, like, you know, their electives or their specials or whatever at the same time. There's plenty of times where they go all the way downstairs, grab their kids. I'm playing in time trying to do grades and stuff, scrambling. They come back upstairs talking about something, oh, your kids are downstairs. You didn't think when you walk past my room, because your room was over here, you gotta walk past my room to say, hey girl, we about to go get the kids real quick. There's plenty of times where they were so shady and so closed off. So I'm like, you sitting up here surprised I didn't come to you to ask you about something? That wasn't even my first thought. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That was not my first thought. My first thought was like not to go to somebody who don't even help me with simple shit. Like, that's not my first thought. My first thought is, let me go to old girl who wants this done and who's the head department of this, so that I can make sure that I did it right and make sure, you know, my stuff is on point. Because at the end of the day, y'all are giving very for self as it is. So I'm gonna make sure that I got my shit together. And so yes, shorty tried to press me and be like, oh, well, it makes us look bad, or it makes me, or some shit. She was a very like, oh, I have to look a certain type of way. She was like, she wanted pity, but at the same time she wanted to be known or be looked at as head honcho. She wanted to be like, you know, like, oh, my kids do the best and my kids act the best, but at the same time pity me. And I'm like, you got the game fucked up. But yeah, so I had to like tell her, like, first of all sis, I went to the head person who sent us the email. I went to the head person who sent us the email to make sure that I was specifically doing it right. And I told her, and I didn't even want to say I didn't want to come to you. I told her, I said, and I didn't think that was an issue. I didn't think going to the person who's in charge, who's going to be checking you if I don't do it correctly or if I don't do it at all, to ask for help was an issue. I'm sorry you got checked. I didn't know that shorty was going to come to you and be like, oh, why you didn't show her how to do this? Dang, I should have done me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And so instead of you not being proactive as a person and showing me specifically how to do things, you gonna come to me and pretty much try to scold me or try to press me about going to her, and next time I need to come to you. Bitch, fuck you. I really got to a point where I was like, girl, fuck off. Fuck off. Really, like, it was crazy. And then it was just a couple after that, it was literally just a couple of other things that just kept going and kept going. And I was just like, it got to a point where they were messy. I have never been around a group of people who are almost twice my age and are messy as hell. Baby, we here for a check. I'm here for a check. I think a part of her messiness also had to do with kind of like a jealousy in a sense. Like, naturally, I was a substitute. I was not contractual. So if I couldn't make it that day, or if I decided, which I did, that I no longer want to work here anymore because y'all are ridiculous, I can get the fuck up and leave. And you, on the other hand, are contractual, meaning you have to stay. You stuck, boo-boo. And I think there was a couple of instances of, like, you know, she didn't like that, and then I got real close with old girl because we're close in age. She was 20. I think she's 23 or 24 and I'm 27. We're in the same age range. Like, old girl is your daughter's age. Why did you think, you know? And we started getting really close, and I started spending time with her. I started going to her office more, eating lunch with her. They never invited me to eat lunch with them, by the way, even though it was in the room right across from my room. They all would go eat lunch together, close the door, and never invite me to come eat lunch with them, right? So that's why I was like so confused when Shawty was offended. I said, you're offended for what? Y'all bitches don't fuck with me half the time anyway. You're offended for why? I could not understand that at all. That was literally, when I tell y'all, one of the most traumatic freaking substituting positions I've ever did. Literally, I kid you not, I left because I had sprained my ankle because I am clumsy. And it was just no regard for the fact that I sprained my ankle. Like, they were trying to replace me before I even came back. Like, I had contacted, you know, the people pretty much telling them, like, I'm not gonna be at work tomorrow. Like, I sprained my ankle. I literally need to go to the doctor. First of all, I was in a whole nother city. I had to come back home, go to the doctor, get everything checked out. And I was already over the fucking job as it is. As you can see, I was already done. And I was like, I'm done. She was like, it's okay if you're done. I'm like, it sounds like you want me to be done, honestly. Because she kept saying that, like, it's okay if you don't want to come back. Da 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 da. And like, the funny part about it is once I actually did leave, they ended up putting one of the like substitute teachers that is assigned to the building in there, and she absolutely was so mad. She was so upset that they put her there. But yes, y'all, that is my fucking story time. Shorty tried to press me, and I still cannot get over it to this day. I was like, there's no way that you're trying to press me over such a little instance. And they try to say our generation is crazy as fuck. Baby, that was a crazy. I'm like, this must be your only excitement. At work is your only excitement. Because there was another instance after I left where she tried to fight the girl who came after me who was substituting. So that lets you know I'm not the fucking issue. But I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in to Story Time. We have so many more story times coming, y'all, because it's so many things that I can talk about. It's really so many things I can talk about. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to your girl's channel, press the like button. Let me know if you've ever had a coworker try to press you, ever tried to come at you, any crazy experiences, because baby, I was never expecting this. It was just a shit show. I literally felt like I walked into the circus. I was like, this is not what I'm trying to do whatsoever. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow your girl on Instagram. Okay, I'm about to start posting more stuff on Instagram and TikTok, so follow your girl up there. Love y'all so much, and thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.